Lord Chesterfield's letters to his son. This one's dated February 8th, 1746, from Dublin Castle. Sir, I have been honoured with 2 letters from you since I troubled you with my last, and I have likewise received a letter from Mr. Morel containing a short and beautiful manuscript, said to be yours, but I confess I can hardly believe it because it is very different from your common writing, and I will not suppose that you do not always write as well as you can, for to do anything ill that one can do well is a degree of negligence which I can never suspect you of. I always applaud your laudable ambition of excelling in everything you attempt, and therefore make no doubt but that you will in a little time be able to write full as well as the person, whoever he is, that wrote the manuscript which he said is said to be yours. People like you have a contempt for mediocrity, and and are not satisfied with escaping censure. They aim to praise, and by desiring seldom fail deservingly and acquiring it. You propose, I find, Demosthenes for your model, and you have chosen very well. But remember the pains he took to be what he was. He spoke near the sea in storms, both to use himself to speak loud and not to be disturbed by the noise and tumult of public assemblies. He put stones in his mouth to help his elocution, which naturally was not advantageous, from which facts I conclude that whatever he spoke, he opened both his lips and his teeth, and that he articulated every word and every syllable distinctly and full loud enough to be heard in the whole length of my library. As he took so much pains for the graces of oratory only, I conclude he took still more for the mere solid parts of it. I am apt to think he applied himself extremely to the propriety, the purity, and the eloquence of his language, to the distribution of the parts of his oration, to the forces of his arguments, to the strengths of his proofs, and to the passions as well as the judgments of his audience. I fancy he began with an exordium to gain the good opinion and the affections of his audience, that afterwards he stated the point in question briefly but clearly, that he then brought his proofs, afterwards his arguments, and that he concluded with a periotio afterwards, in which he recapitulated the whole succinctly, enforcing the strong parts and artfully slipped over the weak ones, and at last made his strong push at the passions of his hearers. Wherever you would persuade or prevail addresses yourself to the passions, it is by them that mankind is to be taken. Caesar bade his soldiers at the battle of Pharsalia aim at the faces of Pompey's men. They did so and prevailed. I bid you strike at the passions, and if you do, you too will prevail. If you can once engage people's pride, love, pity, ambition, or whichever is their prevailing passion, on your side, you need not fear that their reason can do against you. I am with the greatest respect, yours, etc.